Although Popeye is one of the simplest games when it comes to concept, it is one of the most frustrating games in history when it comes to execution. Popeye was developed and released in 1983 by Nintendo as an arcade game and later ported to the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1986. Popeye was one of the black box early release titles and was ported to multiple other consoles like the Commodore 64, Atari, ColecoVision, etc., etc. But the NES console version is the one most people will be familiar with. Popeye is one of the most recognizable cartoon characters in history, so needless to say, the licensing for this game was important back in the day. It is said the original Donkey Kong was intended to be the Popeye characters, but Nintendo couldn't get the licensing at the time. Can you imagine a world where the iconic Donkey Kong doesn't exist thanks to Nintendo acquiring the licensing for Popeye? Man, that's a scary thought. Anyways, the game starts off with the classic simple intro screen with player select. Once in the game, you'll notice some striking similarities with Donkey Kong given the top-down platform style. This was a common gaming concept back in the day, and Popeye utilized some subtle differences to make it feel somewhat different. The first major difference you'll notice is there is no such thing as jumping in this game like in Donkey Kong. The only ability you have is a punch you can use to defend against enemies like the bottles Brutus throws and other various enemies that will come along. It can also trigger the punching bag in the docks level, and it will knock a barrel loose that will give bonus points if it hits Brutus, but I didn't take the time to do it since I wasn't planning on going for a high score in this episode. The punch can grab spinach to make Popeye invincible momentarily, so you can give Brutus the boot and give yourself a breather. Unfortunately, this is the only time Popeye can directly attack Brutus, and believe me, not being able to attack Brutus any other time will be the most curse word inducing stuff you'll encounter in this game as you advance. Each level has its objective, with them all revolving around collecting something that olive oil is dropping from the top of the screen. Depending on the level, it could be hearts, music notes, or letters that spell out the word help. Collect all of these to complete the level while avoiding Brutus and other obstacles. There wasn't much point in playing extremely deep into this game for this grades episode, since the game only continues to throw more crap at you and get more difficult as you advance. It wasn't a situation where I was leaving out much information that would change anyone's opinion on the game, for sure. It gets extremely repetitive, and the only goal is to keep advancing to gain a higher score, but keeping in mind this was an arcade port in the early days of the NES, I didn't mind it too bad. The music is like most games of this era and was very simple and nothing too irritating. It didn't enhance the game by any means, but didn't make me want to turn the volume off. The controls are sluggish, but that's somewhat expected given the whole idea was to make you drop quarters in a machine. There's got to be something to add challenge to the game, so sluggish, hard to master timing and controls were commonplace in this era. This game automatically gets a lower score based on my normal scoring system given these factors, so it gets a final score of 2.6 out of 5. As a collector, I own it because it's a black box game, but I honestly don't have a reason beyond that to own this game. It's a stretch to call it a classic, but if you're looking for a simple, straightforward retro experience that's hard to master, this is your game. But if you're looking for something that you'll want to play for hours on end and you're not into being the high score on a given game, you can give this one a pass. I want to hear your Popeye game stories, so make sure to leave a comment and tell me about your experience, or if you have a game you'd like me to grade next, let me know in the comment section below and I'll try to put it in the queue for an upcoming video. As always, your viewership is appreciated, and if you enjoyed the video, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribe to my channel. Happy gaming everyone, and we'll see you next video!